The Galactic Council met in a large, bright room. It was a room filled with many alien leaders from different planets. They were discussing Earth, a planet that was known as a death world. The Council believed that humans were wild and dangerous. They thought that humans would never change or become civilized. The Council members often laughed at the idea of humans being anything more than a chaotic species. One leader, a tall alien named Zorak, stood up and said, "We should not worry about Earth. Humans will always destroy themselves. They are too violent." Many in the room nodded, agreeing with him. They had seen news reports of wars and conflicts on Earth, and it confirmed their beliefs. Suddenly, a holographic image appeared in the center of the room. It was a message from a human colony called New Hope. The image showed a group of humans standing proudly in front of a large, shiny ship. They spoke with confidence, saying, "We have developed new technology. We are ready to communicate and trade. We want to show you what we can do." The Council members were shocked. Some of them exchanged worried looks. Could these humans actually be a threat? A smaller alien named Fira raised her voice. "This is nonsense. They are just trying to get our attention. We should ignore them." But a few others were not so sure. "What if they have truly changed?" asked a wise old alien named Talon. "We should investigate. We cannot just dismiss them." Talon's words hung in the air, causing the room to buzz with discussion. As debates raged on, a young council member named Kira, who had a keen interest in Earth, spoke up. "What if we send a team to learn more about them? We can see for ourselves if they are a threat." The older members chuckled at her enthusiasm. "You are too naive, Kira," Zorak replied. "You think humans are capable of peace? They are nothing but animals." Despite the skepticism, Kira felt a spark of determination. She believed that there was more to humans than their violent past. She recalled stories of human creativity, invention, and resilience. They had survived on a harsh planet and made incredible advances in science and technology. Perhaps they were ready to join the larger galaxy. The Council's meeting continued, but Kira's heart raced with the thought of discovering the truth about humans. As the discussions continued, she decided to gather information secretly. She contacted a few scientists and explorers who had studied human technology. Meanwhile, news from the human colony began to spread. They were not just sitting idle, they were building ships and creating new technologies. Rumors flew around the galaxy about the advancements humans had made. Some council members became uneasy, realizing they might have underestimated the humans. Days later, Kira presented her findings to the council. "Humans have improved their technology faster than we thought. They have ships that can travel far into space. If we do not act quickly, they might become a force we cannot ignore." The room fell silent, the weight of her words sinking in. Zorak, who had been dismissive of humans, now had a look of concern on his face. "We must keep an eye on them. We cannot let them threaten the peace of our galaxy," he said. The council finally agreed to send a small team to Earth. They would investigate the human colony and gather more information. Kira felt a mix of excitement and fear. This was her chance to prove that humans could be more than their past. As the meeting ended, Kira looked around the room. The council members were still debating, but now there was a sense of urgency in their voices. Humans were no longer just a joke, they were becoming a topic of serious concern. With a new mission on the horizon, the Galactic Council had awakened to the reality that humans were no longer bound to their death world. They were breaking free, and the galaxy was about to change forever. The Galactic Council had decided to send a small team to Earth to learn more about the humans. Kira, the young member who believed in the humans' potential, was excited. She prepared to lead the team, hoping to find evidence that humans had changed for the better. The team, made up of 5 members, gathered in a sleek spaceship. As they traveled toward Earth, Kira could feel her heart racing. She wondered what they would find. Would the humans welcome them, or would they still be hostile and aggressive? When they arrived in Earth's orbit, they were amazed by the sight below. The blue and green planet sparkled with life. The team prepared to land in a human settlement, eager to meet the people who had sent the message to the council. As they descended, Kira imagined the conversations they would have. However, things did not go as planned. As they landed, alarms began to blare. The team stepped out of their ship, only to see a large group of humans running toward them, looking frantic. "They're attacking!" one of the humans shouted. Confused, Kira and her team exchanged worried glances. Before they could react, they saw another group of humans, but these ones were armed and moving fast. They had advanced weapons that glowed with energy. Kira's heart sank. "What is happening?" she whispered to her team. The armed humans were from a different faction, a group that did not trust outsiders. They believed that the council was a threat to their freedom. Kira realized that they were in the middle of a conflict between humans. Some wanted peace, while others were ready to fight. As the armed humans approached, Kira raised her hands, signaling peace. "We come in peace," she shouted, hoping to calm them down. "We are here to talk, not to fight." But her words were drowned out by the sound of gunfire. The team ducked for cover behind their ship as shots rang out. Kira's heart raced with fear. They had come to learn, but now they were caught in a battle. The humans were fighting each other, and the council team was stuck in the middle. "Get back to the ship!" shouted one of the team members, a strong alien named Rax. He had been a soldier and knew how to handle dangerous situations. Kira nodded and followed him, but the fighting was chaotic. Humans were yelling and explosions filled the air. As they made their way back to the ship, Kira spotted a young human girl watching the chaos with wide eyes. She seemed scared and alone. "We have to help her!" Kira yelled. Rax hesitated, knowing the risk. But Kira couldn't leave her behind. With a determined look, Kira ran toward the girl who was hiding behind a tree. "Come with us," Kira said, reaching out her hand. The girl hesitated, but then took Kira's hand. Together, they ran back to the ship, narrowly avoiding gunfire. Once inside, Kira quickly activated the ship's systems. "We need to get out of here!" she shouted. The team scrambled to help, working together to lift off the ground. As the ship rose into the sky, Kira looked back at the battle below. She felt a mix of emotions, fear, sadness, and frustration. They had come to learn about humans, but instead, they had seen the worst of them. Once they were safely in space, the team gathered around Kira. "What just happened?" Rax asked, his voice filled with concern. "We were supposed to make contact, not get caught in a war." Kira took a deep breath. "I thought we could find peace, but it seems humans are still divided. Some want to fight, while others want to communicate." The team members exchanged worried looks, realizing the challenge ahead. Suddenly, the communication system beeped. Kira activated it, and a human voice came through. "Are you okay?" The voice was shaky but filled with concern. It was the girl they had rescued. "I'm so sorry for the attack. My people don't trust outsiders. Please, can you help us?" Kira's heart softened. This girl was a symbol of hope. "We want to help," Kira replied. "We just need to understand." The girl nodded, her eyes shining with determination. As they soared away from Earth, Kira knew they had much work ahead. The humans were complex, filled with both conflict and potential. This was just the beginning of their journey, and she was determined to help them find a path to peace. The spaceship glided through the stars, leaving Earth behind. Kira and her team were still shaken by the surprise attack, but they had rescued a young human girl named Mia. She sat quietly, her eyes filled with worry. Kira wanted to reassure her, but she felt uncertain about the situation. They had come to find peace, but now they were caught in a web of conflict. After a while, Kira turned to Mia and said, "Can you tell us more about what happened? Why were those humans fighting?" Mia looked up, her expression serious. "Some humans do not trust anyone outside of Earth. They think aliens want to control us," she explained. "But not everyone feels that way. Many of us want to make friends." Kira nodded, realizing that the humans were not as simple as the Galactic Council thought. There were different groups, each with their beliefs. "We want to help," Kira said. "We believe you have something special to offer the galaxy." Mia smiled faintly, but there was still fear in her eyes. "If you want to meet more humans, you must go to our leader, Captain James. He is brave and believes in peace." Kira felt a surge of hope. If they could meet Captain James, perhaps they could build a bridge between the two worlds. The team set a course for a human settlement called New Hope, where Captain James was known to live. As they traveled, Kira prepared for the meeting. She wanted to show the humans that they were not enemies. They had come to help, not to take over. When they arrived at New Hope, the team landed their ship in a clearing surrounded by trees. The area was peaceful, with flowers blooming and birds singing. It felt different from the chaos they had just escaped. Kira took a deep breath, feeling the fresh air fill her lungs. Mia led the team through the settlement, pointing out houses made of wood and stone. People were busy working in their gardens, laughing and playing. Kira noticed that the humans looked friendly, but she also saw some who were wary of the newcomers. They watched the alien team with curious eyes. Finally, they reached a large building at the center of the settlement. "This is where Captain James lives," Mia said, her voice filled with pride. Kira felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. This was their chance to connect with the humans. As they entered the building, they were greeted by Captain James, a tall man with kind eyes and a strong presence. "Welcome," he said, smiling warmly. "I've heard about you." "Thank you for saving Mia." Kira felt relieved. His friendly demeanor put her at ease. "We come in peace," Kira said, stepping forward. "We want to learn about your people and share our knowledge." Captain James nodded, his expression serious. "I appreciate your honesty. Many of my people fear what they don't understand. It is hard to change their minds." Kira explained the Galactic Council's concerns and how they believed that humans had something valuable to offer. "We think that by working together we can help each other," she said. "But we need your help to show your people that we are not a threat." Captain James listened carefully. "I agree, but it will not be easy. There are still many who want to fight. We must find a way to unite my people." Kira felt inspired. Captain James was determined and had a vision for peace. Together, they could make a difference. As they talked, the team began to bond with the humans. They shared stories about their worlds, their cultures, and their dreams. Kira felt a connection growing between them, like a thread weaving their lives together. After a long discussion, Captain James suggested a plan. "We should hold a gathering for our people. You can speak to them and show them that aliens are not the enemy. We need to build trust." Kira nodded enthusiastically. "That's a great idea. We can demonstrate our technology and share our knowledge." The team spent the next few days preparing for the gathering. Kira felt hopeful for the first time since they had arrived on Earth. They were not just visitors, they were partners. When the day of the gathering arrived, the clearing was filled with humans. Some looked excited while others were skeptical. Kira took a deep breath and stood beside Captain James. This was their moment to shine. As she looked out at the crowd, Kira remembered the battles they had witnessed and the fears that still lingered. But she also felt the strength of hope in her heart. This was just the beginning, and together they could change the future. The gathering was set to take place in a large clearing surrounded by tall trees. Kira stood with Captain James, feeling a mix of excitement and anxiety. Humans were starting to gather, and Kira hoped they would be open to listening. She knew that this was a critical moment for peace between their worlds. As the crowd grew, Kira noticed a group of armed humans standing off to the side. They looked angry and ready for a fight. She recognized them as members of the faction that had attacked them before. Fear crept into her heart. What if they disrupted the gathering? Captain James noticed the tension in Kira's expression. "Don't worry. I will talk to them," he said confidently. He approached the group, and Kira watched closely. She could see the leader of the group, a tall man with a fierce look in his eyes. He seemed to be the one stirring up trouble. James spoke calmly but firmly. "We are here to talk, not to fight. The Galactic Council means no harm." The man scoffed, crossing his arms. "You think we will trust aliens? They are here to control us. They will take our freedom." Kira felt her heart race. She could hear whispers from the crowd, and the atmosphere grew tense. The armed group was influencing the others, and Kira knew she had to act quickly to prevent violence. "James!" Kira called out, stepping forward. "We have to show them that we are not a threat." She turned to the crowd, her voice steady. "We come in peace. We want to share knowledge and learn from you." But before Kira could continue, the leader of the armed group shouted, "Don't listen to her! They are lying! We must fight back." His words ignited anger among his followers, and Kira could see fists clenching and weapons being raised. "Please, let's not resort to violence," Kira pleaded, desperation in her voice. "We can work together. There is so much we can learn from each other." But the crowd was split. Some looked interested, while others were fueled by fear. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed through the clearing. A shot rang out and chaos erupted. Kira's heart sank as she realized someone had fired a weapon. The armed group had made their move. James shouted, "Everyone stay calm! This is not what we want!" But panic spread through the crowd. People were running, and screams filled the air. Kira felt a wave of dread wash over her. This was turning into a disaster. Kira grabbed Mia, who had been standing nearby. "We need to get to safety," she shouted. They ducked behind a tree, trying to shield themselves from the chaos. Kira could see the armed group moving through the crowd, trying to incite fear and violence. James was trying to protect the civilians, but he was outnumbered. Kira knew she had to do something. I can't just hide, she thought. She took a deep breath, her heart pounding. She had to stand up for peace. James! Kira called out. We need to unite! Show them that we are stronger together. She stepped into the open, raising her hands to signal peace. Please, stop fighting! The armed leader turned to her, anger in his eyes. Why should we listen to you? You are just an alien! Kira squared her shoulders, feeling a surge of determination. I may be an alien, but I care about your people. I want to help you. Her voice rang clear above the noise, and for a moment the crowd paused, surprised by her bravery. James saw the opportunity and shouted, We are not your enemies! Let us show you what we can do together. He joined Kira in the open, standing beside her as a symbol of unity. Gradually, some of the armed humans began to lower their weapons. Kira felt hope rise within her. We can be friends. We can build a better future together. Just then, another shot fired, this time from behind the crowd. A human fell to the ground and gasps echoed through the clearing. Kira's heart sank. The fight was not over yet. Get down! James yelled, pulling Kira and Mia to the ground. Kira could see the panic in the crowd as people began to scatter. She felt helpless, caught in a battle that was not hers. But Kira knew she had to keep fighting for peace. We must not give up, she thought. If we can show them our strength, we can end this conflict. With that thought in mind, she prepared to take a stand. As the chaos unfolded, Kira focused on her goal. She had come to Earth for peace, and she was not going to let fear destroy that dream. She had to show both the humans and her team that there was hope, even in the darkest moments. The chaos in the clearing continued as screams echoed in the air. Kira felt a deep sense of fear, but also a strong desire to create change. She was determined to show both the humans and her team that peace was possible. After a few tense moments, Kira spotted Captain James rising from the ground. He had managed to shield a few civilians from the attack. With a fierce look in his eyes, he turned to the crowd. Everyone listen! We can stop this! His voice rang clear, cutting through the panic. Kira saw that some people were beginning to gather around him again. We need to unite! James shouted. We cannot let fear control us. Kira felt her heart swell with hope. If they could rally the crowd, they might still have a chance to change things. Encouraged by James's words, Kira stood up. That's right. We have to work together. The Galactic Council wants to help you, not harm you. She raised her hands again, her heart pounding, but she stood tall. We can learn from each other and build a better future. Slowly, more people began to lower their weapons. The leader of the armed group, still glaring, hesitated. Kira could see the conflict in his eyes. He was torn between anger and the desire for peace. What do you really want? He asked, his voice shaky. Kira took a step forward, meeting his gaze. We want friendship. We can share technology, knowledge, and support. Together we are stronger. The crowd began to murmur, and Kira could feel a shift in the atmosphere. One by one, more humans began to nod. The fear that had filled the air started to lift. People were realizing that they did not have to fight against each other. They could choose a different path. As the tension eased, Kira heard someone shout from the back. But how do we trust you? It was a valid question, and Kira knew she needed to address it. Trust takes time, but we can start by showing you who we are. Let us demonstrate our technology and knowledge, she suggested. James nodded in agreement. Let us work together to prove that we can be allies. The crowd was quiet now, waiting for an answer. The armed leader looked at Kira, then at James. He took a deep breath, his shoulders relaxing slightly. All right, let's see what you can offer. It was a tentative truce, but it was a start. Kira felt a wave of relief wash over her. Thank you. We promise you will not regret this. She felt the energy shift as hope spread among the crowd. Over the next few days, Kira and her team began to show the humans their technology. They explained how their ships worked, how they communicated across galaxies, and the science behind their advancements. The humans were curious, asking questions and sharing their own knowledge in return. During one demonstration, Kira showcased a small energy shield. She activated it, and the shimmering barrier appeared. The crowd gasped in amazement. This can protect you from attacks, she explained. We want to share this technology to ensure everyone's safety. As the demonstrations continued, more humans joined the gathering, eager to learn. The fear that had once gripped the settlement began to fade, replaced by excitement and curiosity. Kira watched as people laughed and exchanged ideas, slowly building a bond. Captain James was at her side, his confidence growing. "You have done an incredible job, Kira. Your courage has inspired many." Kira smiled, feeling a sense of pride. Together, they were changing hearts and minds. As the days turned into weeks, the collaboration between humans and the Galactic Council deepened. They started working on projects together, focusing on agriculture, technology, and medicine. Kira could see the future they were building, a future of cooperation and friendship. One evening, as the sun set behind the trees, Kira stood with James at the edge of the clearing. "I can't believe how far we've come," she said, her voice filled with awe. "We have built something beautiful." James nodded, his eyes shining with hope. "This is just the beginning. Together we can achieve great things." Kira felt a warm feeling in her heart. They had faced fear, conflict, and doubt, but they had emerged stronger. They had chosen to fight for peace instead of destruction. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Kira looked up and felt a sense of belonging. She had come to Earth to forge connections, and now she was part of something much bigger. This was not just a new chapter for her people. It was a new beginning for both humans and aliens. The journey ahead would not be easy, but with hope and determination, Kira knew they could face any challenge together. And in that moment, she felt ready to embrace whatever came next.